I
No,
like it. No. I
I'm.
felt like it's bad.
I was gonna say I'm greasy enough as it is. I don't add any more.
The stepdaughter wants me to do it all the time. Always, she wants me to, because that day is long enough that I can get some curly. But no. I told her it goes the other way. It's handlebar. It's evil bad guy that way, not this way. Like it's So
That's completely fair.
mhm.
So is it what makes
you
me
can
the
ride a
hipster?
bike with no handlebars, but
Indeed. Am I a hipster because it's a Zippo? Is that what it is?
it's the soft flame
Ours-
insert. It's everything about it. Just
It's the
everything.
better option. I would love if I was a cigarette smoker, the Zippo is a great option. But as a non-cigarette smoker who just likes Zippos, their freaking fuel sucks.
I was gonna say you're not necessarily hipster for liking Zippos, but that sentence definitely hipster, absolutely. And I say that as somebody who has a fucking electric Zippo. So
Evening, gentlemen.
Indeed.
Black Frost.
Howdy.
Ben.
Cheers. Cheers.
How's it going, boys and girls? Ready for
I haven't
another
finished my Red Bull yet.
fun adventure? And if you,
I don't know. Did you get the right picture up this time?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Cool story, bro.
Well, you know. And if you
Step
thought I
in
was
the right direction, at least.
if you thought I was lying about the electric Zippo, I was not.
Mhm.
X marks the spot.
Joe, grow more of a mustache so you can wax it, will you?
He wouldn't even need to.
Keep pulling out the hair due to stress. You think I can grow it bigger? Come on.
That's where it's all going. I see.
Oh, bad habits from PIA.
All right. So
What?
on that note.
Oh, I was just gonna
Apparently
say.
Justin's in and he's out.
Oh, well, thanks for saying hi.
Hello, goodbye.
Whatever, screw you, hippie. I've been moving for a week. I don't even feel bad for that guy.
Weak.
I have some noise canceling on. Let me know if my fan noise is coming through to you guys. I don't think it's that bad, but
I don't hear it.
just putting that out there. Yeah.
It's the
Another
worst thing
easy
ever.
one.
You should probably just mute it.
It'd be for the best. If I knew ASL, I'd do the whole episode trying to spell stuff, but it'd be full of errors. It wouldn't be good.
Also, Stanson 357. What up?
What
Yo.
is up?
I feel like I
Sure.
jumped right in front of you there.
Wouldn't be the first time this month. Anyway.
What was that?
Oh, I'm flogging dead horses. It's good stuff.
Oh,
It's good stuff.
I see. I see.
I think we were both waiting for a lull.
Oh, that's fair.
We're like, oh, quiet spot. What?
All right. What y'all carrying? Am I going first? I'll go first. I don't care.
Go first.
Who's on first?
Dennis.
No, everyone knows who I am. I don't even have a silly name like y'all on Instagram. I just am that guy. It's So,
That guy with a name.
and being that guy, I was carrying the mini version of an HK. It's not going to focus because it's a deck like that.
That's okay. The
You have a
picture.
picture of it, hopefully.
I was gonna say
Jesus
the picture you sent is definitely up on screen now. And I wish Benchmade still made a version of this.
Did somebody mess with the orientation of the photo? Or did you actually stick it into something sideways?
It was lying down. And that's an overhead view. Of
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was just the way that it, like,
The perspective is hurting my brain.
and it didn't want to sit with the angle so I could see the bevel a little bit because the bevel just kept on. And I got a nice polish on this sumbitch. So I did poke it into the piece of wood there to hold it in place. So at least the H&K would stand out when I took the damn picture, right? So,
Nice.
yeah.
Got to get that highlight, that reflectivity when it matters.
Well,
What I was
come
gonna
on.
say.
Got to rep that company logo. Come on.
And the bevel. And
Actually,
the bevel.
I've always the bevel looks nice. Poppy contrast, all that. But I have to say, as far as logos go, I really don't hate the H.
No. There
Yeah.
are definitely worse.
Yeah.
It's 2 letters. So
Could have been
I mean-
4. Could have been
I was
4.
gonna say Joe uses 2 letters on his knives too, so
I
there's a-
might be biased just a little bit.
Yeah.
just because it's J-O and then he just forgets the rest, doesn't he? Like it's it's not a that's not a
Aw.
legitimate answer. Come
That's
on,
not,
man.
that's not how you spell Joe. You're forgetting stuff. Joe.
So who's next? Me, you.
Hmm.
I guess it's
I can go next.
okay.
Carrying a knife that needs to be carried more. 707.
Does it though?
It does. It really, really does. I love this thing. It's fantastic. The double detent has broken in nicely. And if you don't like it, you're wrong.
How much did you have to do with breaking that in?
Actually, the action has improved a little bit since I'm playing with it incessantly. I will say though, a little bit of pivot lash. I don't know whether that's something that I did when I dropped the knife, or not. But there's just the tiniest amount of play right when you press on the tab, and if you do it quickly enough, you don't feel it. But if you take your time with it, you can feel it.
Are you
It's not
saying
great.
that like the flattened like section or whatever has twisted in its
Like, I don't know if you're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be able to see it. There's like the smallest amount of movement there.
and that's movement with it still the D10 still being fully
Yes.
engaged?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, but on a knife this expensive, you kind of hope it wouldn't be there.
There's
But
a little ball. There's a little ball and cup action going on that needs to be addressed.
Ball in a cup.
Well, okay, so one possible solution is to take out the double detent on the show side and over tension it a little bit, but I don't really know if I want to mess around with it.
There's the Joe we all know and love, right there.
Endlessly modifying and ruining knives. It's day in, day out.
Join us again next week. Yeah, I guess that leaves you, Paul.
Indeed. So this week, oddly enough, I'm also carrying one of Joe's ZTs.
Yep.
I procured something from Joe's collection recently, the ZT 804.
Had to move it along. I'm glad it went to, well, I don't know if I should say a good home, but
Hey,
it's a pretty
I'm
good
not
home.
going to anodize it. It's staying.
You
as is.
can't anodize it.
Exactly. Don't tempt me, sir.
It's like that sounds like a challenge right there for sure.
I'll make this rainbow colors.
I would
just
be
to
actually.
fight you.
I mean, if you made it purple, I would probably be jealous more than anything. But there's that. So,
Oh, sir, why would you say that?
because purple
would
and
you-
black are fantastic together. It's
Listen,
it's a-
sir. Listen, sir.
It's a great color combo.
Todd Rexford is
Fair
not
play.
RJ Martin.
CPM, hello. The one thing I wanted to mention to touch on is I had a little bit of trouble with lock stick when I first got this from Joe. And I took a little bit of time with a graphite pencil on the lock insert, not the insert, sorry, the lock interface on the back here. And there is no real lock stick anymore. It's actually improved its functionality quite a lot.
Pretty significant
actually-
improvement, actually. Yeah.
Comfortable to open with my thumb. Before I was only doing kind of an over-the-top pick to close it, and my index fingy was getting sore.
I was gonna say access to that lock bar isn't quite as bad as the Gil Bradley 2, or the Gil Bradley 1 for that matter, but still kind of tight.
And Dennis knows this, and I mentioned it to Joe too, but I was giving Joe a hard time for like damaging the screws on this knife. And he bought it secondhand, so he didn't damage the screws on this knife. But he also
once.
has a set of screws as a replacement for me. So I feel like a double dick.
Or Joe, who was just like bogarting some screws for no reason whatsoever because he moved the knife along, right?
He mentioned to me that he was going to give them to me and then forgot to bring them, and I forgot they existed.
I forgot it, and I forgot until today, so now I gotta go find them. They're in one of 3 drawers. They're not.
Yeah, so I will have new screws hopefully on Wednesday.
This is why it's worth calling your companies to see if they will send you parts, because even if something's been out of production for 3, 4, 5 years, they might actually have parts kicking around, and they did for my for the 804.
I might call on an 804 as soon as they're not down for maintenance.
And if you weren't aware, they're USA made.
Yeah, the one thing I don't really like about that.
Yeah, I think it was Dennis that actually mentioned this the last time we talked about it. Just the fact that I don't know why my phone's not charging. That's weird.
Do better.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that in a second. But if this said made in Canada, I'd be all about it. So I can't really complain.
Oh yeah,
an American company said made in America.
I should be clear when I say I don't like that about that knife. It's the one aspect of the knife that I go meh. Everything else I actively very much enjoy. The ergos, the action, the grind on the blade, the pocket clip, like pretty much everything else. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. The field, I get it.
And Stanson commented about working on the tip of his Tanto spike, dropping it on stone. Not a good thing. Yeah, croup steel and stone. It's a hell of a thing. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
That 4116 really likes rocks.
Yeah. I've heard people talk about 4116 like it's a particularly tough steel. New.
Okay.
It's extremely stainless, and it's kind of tough for what it is, but if you compare it to a lot of other stainless options, like I think 4034, which is supposed to be like 420 high carbon, those are way tougher.
Its impact resistance is not necessarily that great, right? Like wear resistance is one thing, but if you try to do something damaging to 4116, it does not stand up to it. Yeah, I have a Scottish spike that it has a bend in it because it dropped into wood and the weight of the knife itself.
That's a pretty narrow tip on that particular spike, though. Hey, like
it is, but it's a thick spine. So
yeah.
Anyway, onto the get-go of the things.
Yeah, the thing we're talking about, the thing we're all here for. We knife Elementum.
What? It's not this Elementum? It's not.
No, we're talking about an inferior version.
Oh, damn, son.
Yeah, I got a hot take for this week.
Joe's got Felix.
A little bit.
Sorry, guys. Apparently this cable is burnt out.
Oh shit.
Are we gonna lose you?
Potentially.
All right. Well, we'll hope that doesn't happen.
Well, we'll let Paul do his running around to see if he can find a spare cable. In the meantime, yeah, this is. Sorry, Paul?
So you talk, I'll do this.
Cool. Yeah. So this Elementum, how is it different? Okay, well, it's made by not Civivi. It's a frame lock, it's titanium and 20 CV. By and large, a more premium model. Like a River Rock in the hand, though. It is pretty comfortable. I'll give it that.
River Rock.
Yeah, it's smooth. It's a bit more flat than your average River Stone for sure, but very well chamfered. It feels round in the hand. Like it doesn't bite quite the same way.
And hey, Robin, what's going on, my friend? Glad you could join us this Sunday, having a brew. Saw your post about swords. That was fantastic. Paul has way more of those nerdy facts than I do. I also just lost the lid of my cooler, so that's not cool.
Yeah, if the facts don't go up with swords, apparently. Apparently, That's a thing that I am into. I was not aware. I still laugh about the fact that I said that I'd never own a sword when I first started working at the shop. And as you can see, right there.
Yep. There's one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Can't see them, but they are
Did you
there.
say that you weren't going to own them?
No. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. It just happened. It's So yeah. Titanium Elementum, you says.
Yeah, I do say.
We got a size comparison by any chance?
We do. Thank you for that. Where did the picture go?
Of course, I'm going to promote my dragonfly. I got to make a knife my own, and even that if that involves messing with lock bars to make it happen.
There we go. Yeah, so there's your size comparison. Grip area is similar to the Dragonfly. I might even say the Dragonfly has a little bit more in handle length if you count the choil that goes up onto the blade.
The Cholet.
you stop that.
Cholet.
Thanks. I hate it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, so not a particularly big knife. Weight. The website, what does the weight have to be? 3.31 ounces. I looked at that before we started filming, and I had completely forgotten again. It's if you subscribe to the ounce and inch rule, it's pretty close, but it's titanium. It's lightweight for the amount of space it takes up.
Robin's asking us what the steel is, and it's 20 CV, right?
Yes.
20 sweet 20 CV. Yeah. The other thing I will dabble on as well, even with the steel liners, the wood one 2.66 ounces compared to your 3.3 on the titanium. So something that might be
weight.
Yeah, something might be talked about is the lack of milling. And I didn't actually get a shot of the insides, but that's because there's nothing to shoot. It's just a slab of titanium.
Yeah, there really isn't any internal milling here. No extra work done to the inside aside from milling in the pocket for the stainless steel lock insert, which is very flush, very flush the way it's been finished. It wouldn't look like that on this very close up photo I happened to get today. But one of these pictures here kind of shows you what it looks like at a distance. Sorry, these are the website images, so they're not labeled quite right. Yeah, so you can kind of see here. It's really flush. Like you do not feel that in the hand at all. So I decided to take a close-up picture with this guy. We had a few moments today, little microscope here, but it ended up being too close, and it makes it look like it's rough as hell and hardly finished. So that's how that looks like.
So if you're putting this under the microscope, as it were, Joe, at one point you're like, this finish is terrible. Like it's about times 600%. All of a sudden.
No,
it looks cast in this photo.
No. That's I actually don't know what the magnification would be at that point.
Close AF.
Well, I mean, this goes between 40 and 1,000 times magnification, so it's somewhere in there.
So 600 is not an inaccurate statement.
It could very well be. I just thought it was an interesting photo to see that texture because it does not look like that. Like it looks bead blasted in person, and I guess this is what the bead blasting looks like at that 600 times magnification or whatever it is.
So, having said that, we've always talked about a bead blasted finish.
Yeah.
And that might be something that we just saw right there, right?
Yeah.
That crater of a golf ball type of texture.
Now,
when you're looking at it with the naked eye,
I actually don't know what lock bar inserts are typically made out of on Wii knives, but I know Spyderco tends to use a very stainless hardenable steel for their lock bars, like for their back locks and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something similar here. Which means that I personally wouldn't be that worried about rust accumulating or oxidization in those inside those divots. But
That also sounds like a challenge, sir.
well, I'm willing to bet that. Oh, speaking of, the Rockwell range supposedly on the blade is 58 to 60.
58 to 60.
Okay,
Yeah.
58 to 60.
But he said, speaking of, like we were talking about that.
Oh, Paul and I were talking a little bit about the ranges earlier. Because on other knives it seems to be a little bit tighter, like 59-60 or 59-61, a little bit higher.
I was going to say it's not so much tighter. It's 1 point higher on both sides.
Did you say 59 to 61?
Yeah, the Pleroma, the Arcus.
Okay, directly on Wii's website, it's a 58 to 60, sir.
No, yeah, the other knives are 59 to 61.
What other knives? Sorry.
The Pleroma.
Oh, okay.
Arcus.
Compared to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad.
Okay.
I mean, now that we're talking about it, wouldn't mind fact checking that just to make
Jesus
sure.
Christ.
But I do remember seeing in the past that they were a little bit harder. At least 58 seems low for Wii.
I was opening Windows before we went live, looking at it.
And yes, you are 100% right. I was just not with it on the conversation and caught a third of it apparently, and all of a sudden had questions that had already been answered because I'm dumb.
Yeah, so. we were wondering off stream what the mindset of going 1 point lower on both sides. Like is it because the Elementum is a knife that more people are going to come from Civivi to Wii 4 potentially? So they went softer because there's going to be more people that are going to abuse it?
Potentially for the same reason that they got rid of the best part of the Elementum. It's not hollow ground. This is flat ground.
And that was my follow-up is, you bet that's where they came from, is it's no longer hollow. So max performance is no longer an issue because you're already working with a flat grind. So it's,
The fact that you're legitimately going to get better cutting performance out of a D2 blade with a hollow grind, comparatively speaking to any given Wii knife, it is mildly upsetting for the price point. But you are buying pocket jewelry, keep that in mind. Not that I don't think this isn't functional. It sounds like I'm just slagging on it, but I really like Civivi's hollow grinds. I really wish they would have done it here.
Does Wii knives not do hollows?
I'm sure they do, but
I'm trying to think of a Wii knife that I know of that has a hollow right now, and I'm coming up blank.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they probably do. I just can't think of one.
It's not a hollow, but I know they do that hand rubbed satin that gets really thin on. We reviewed it. We have it on the shelf. The Sear, thank you. Yeah.
The upshot.
Yeah. Oh, isn't the Moat 20 CV and hollow ground?
20 CV. I don't know if it's hollow or not. We reviewed it too. We should know better, but
it's been a little bit. Yeah.
I can.
But I'm guessing that was the motivation behind
make it more durable.
Change.
And I was saying to Paul, I don't know if they thought that far ahead on it, to be honest, but
apparently they didn't believe in that model, because if you type in the word MOTE, it don't come up.
Oh shit!
It's mote. You need
the little accented E.
Accent circumflex.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Mote.
See, and I have pictures of the moat on my computer here, so I'm just gonna quickly scan through to see if I can tell. Anyway, regardless, this is definitely a different knife. This isn't quite the same. They kept the ability for it to be a left-hand carry, though.
Yeah. Lefty friendly is always a good note for sure. And they didn't on the OG version. They certainly did not.
Do they not do it on the micarta version?
I don't believe so. No, okay. They didn't drill the holes for it at all. It's right hand only. So
that moat looks awfully saber ground.
Don't worry about it.
357 wants to know where you got that microscope from, Joe.
It was gifted to me like 2 Christmases ago. I couldn't tell you where the fiance got it from, but
Does it have a name on it?
no brand name or anything.
You son on a beach.
Yeah. Came with a little USB-A to USB-C converter, so I could use it on my phone or my computer. It's fantastic. It has little LEDs that light up right by the microscope
Okay,
itself.
if you type in the
Fantastic.
word USB microscope, you get a bunch of options that are very similar. So
I'm sure it's pretty easy to source. Yeah.
as soon as I type it in once, there's a whole bunch of stuff on Amazon and shit.
The build quality is good, but I don't think this was particularly expensive. Not that I really care. It works really great. Yeah.
So knife review, you say?
Yeah. Still
It's all
talking.
good. It's all good. Yeah. I want to mention the chamfering on this sumbitch.
Oh yeah.
Because the whole point, I got a whole bunch of those close-ups, is to point out like how nice some of the rounding is on this. This really is what everyone should be looking at when you're looking at like, hey, you should chamfer a knife properly. It's bang on. This thing is beautiful corners on it.
Mhm.
Yeah. This
Right?
is why I was saying like a River Rock. It's not hold on, is River Rock a beer? No, Rolling. I was thinking of Rolling Rock. Sorry.
That good old River Rock.
Yeah.
Drinking some River Rock.
Yep.
Just doesn't sound like a good time.
River Rock Bog Ale.
Okay, there was one little
That's
hot
not
spot.
bog, it's rosewood. Paul or Joe just got his hands on it.
I don't. What do you just splashing in the beer vat before it gets bottled?
You stay out of my beer vat.
But I'm still allowed in the wine vat, right? To squish the grapes.
You're Italian. It's allowed.
That just makes them extra sour. It's good. It's good.
Oh yeah.
Do that.
Anyway, knife review. Yeah, the one point on this knife, I was saying how the insert wasn't uncomfortable. For once, I find the pocket clip uncomfortable on this particular knife. I don't know if it's because of how narrow the handle is or just the way it sits in my palm, but that little point where the clip kind of, this section of the clip where it comes back
Doesn't
up.
flatten out enough?
No, it does flatten out, but it comes a little too high, I think. It feels kind of pokey.
I actually agree in the right hand. And Joe and I have been talking about this a lot lately because, like, even the Elementum, I'm like, yeah, it's a sweet knife because your second finger or third finger fits right there on the clip.
Yeah.
And as a lefty, especially, like, it's works wonderfully. But I did notice that when I put it into my right hand, all of a sudden, major hot spotty right in the palm with where that flares up a little bit. And I think it's more so on the TI version than it is on the
yeah. I wonder.
Looking at it, even in this picture, it looks like it would be uncomfortable, if I'm being honest. I don't remember getting a lot of hot spottiness, but I also don't remember gripping this thing terribly tight either. So
is there a picture of it flows? No, I think that's the best we're gonna get. But just to illustrate how high that clip comes back up, this is the stock photo from the website. And it might have something to do with how thick the clip is, or again, how wide the handle is. That style, that shape of clip, like, is basically the same sort of contouring that a lot of CVVs have. I don't find it uncomfortable on my Cogent, for instance.
is the front of your Cogent that much higher than the back, like this one is?
Did we lose Paul on video?
Paul's video is frozen. This happened.
It's beautifully slamming a rattler. There, we're back.
It's close. It's not quite as high. But it's very close. The other difference is the pocket clip is thicker because it's made out of titanium. I don't know if that really plays a part in it or not. I think it just comes down to the ergonomics for the knife, if I had to make a guess.
A guesstimation, even?
Well, thinking about the Sear, thinking about the other titanium one that had a similar clip. Neither of those were that bad.
I prefer, if you're going to do that style of bend in the clip, I like the way that Kershaw does it, or ZT, some of their models, where the loop comes back and the clip comes back to the same level on both sides of the loop. So you don't have a high spot in front. It kind of levels it off a little bit more comfortably.
Even plane type of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
right? So
I would agree with that. Yeah.
as much as people complain about things like the dick clip and whatever from Benchmade, right? Like that's one of the things that they kind of nailed is the end. Just the tip was no more swelled than the base.
Well,
You want to make sure that you don't have a swollen tip.
speaking of,
At least
that sticks right into the middle of your hand.
look at how low the bill of this clip sits relative to the top of the loop. And I realize it's a very short clip, but this is how it should be done. This is comfortable.
Short of the screw placement on that, that's horrendous. Jesus.
What are you talking about? It's supposed to fit the Benchmade 3-hole, right? That's the excuse. Except they don't use 3 holes. They don't use 3 holes, not on the
Put
G10
an
one.
MXG clip on that thing, for God's sakes.
But this is already deep carry and has a hole in the clip. It's exactly like an FSD clip. I don't know what you're talking about.
he's got you there.
Kind of is.
I have actually modified spring clips, to have that same kind of less flare in the front, because I find that more comfortable.
And Ben, you just take a picture of your Adamas dirty. That's what it's made for. Show it off proud. Don't clean it up. Yeah, tree sap, marshmallow gunk, you name it.
Noted.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag use your shit.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just thinking about getting like marshmallow up in my hand, then taking a picture with my shot going on with it, just to make
Gross.
people on the internet see.
That? Yeah. Oh god. Okay, what else is there to say about this knife? It's an Elementum.
I like the way the lock bar, the spring section of it, the way it's cut with the 3 individual cuts.
It's a nice little motif.
I like that.
It's a good
I
thing.
like the way it looks.
I think I might prefer that to the wide cuts that you sometimes see here. People complain about longer clips causing material to bunch. Definitely not going to be a problem with this knife.
No, it's just going to cheese grater instead. It'll be fine.
Well,
Yeah, and that's probably a problem with that style, quite honestly. But
It's
No,
probably
I
the
mean-
con. Yeah.
to a degree, but I think it's pretty chamfered in those areas. You probably don't have to worry too much. I'm going to see if I can get a clear visual on that. No, I take that back. Those look barely chamfered. But at least it's something.
I was going to go on a quick tangent about the fact that I don't like this style of cut. And then as I was playing with it, I realized that it's perfect for like grabbing your milled clip and lifting it so it gets into your pocket easier. And I don't want to shit on it anymore.
In certain situations, that might be called for. Yeah, for sure.
It works great. I prefer that hole on the inside, but I think it actually works better in this situation this way.
Joe, I sent you the picture that was the close-up of the face side.
Yes, I have that right here.
Okay, so something I wanted to dabble on is also, we saw some examples. If you want to zoom in on this knife in particular, and just the body of it itself, and I don't go 600 freaking percent there, microscope boy. But like it's
What are we looking at?
okay, just the stonewashing. Paul and I witnessed some stonewashing that was uber impressive recently from another company, and we may or may not get into that later.
Okay.
But if you look at the stonewashing on this, it's done almost perfect. Like it's
It's a good look.
I heard some people say, hey, is this worth the upgrade? Joe, you're obviously one of the more pessimistic people that wonder whether this is the upgrade or not. Yeah, blade geometry and heat treatment and blah, 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 blah. But what we has done well, type
Yes.
of thing.
Yeah. It's not
They
a
always-
bad... Sorry.
I was just going to say they always do. That's all. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
It's not a bad knife. I don't think it's a bad knife. If you want a pocket jewelry version of the Civivi Elementum and you don't want to get the Damascus version, you still want at least D2 level edge holding, this is a good option. It's gonna perform.
At
Um,
least D2 level edge holding.
Well, I was thinking about because their Damascus is 10 CR and 9 CR, right? You're not going to get the same kind of edge holding. It'll be similar, but not quite as good, I think. It's a really nice knife. I like the I like the Civivi version so much more, and I'm not even a big fan of the Civivi Elementum to begin with.
I'm still wishing for the button lock Elementum size. In
Ooh.
Now-
a Wii knife button lock Elementum would be pretty hot.
Something, yeah. Yes, it
Hello.
would be, sir. You could probably zoom out of that picture too if you wanted.
Well, it's a really nice stonewash, though. It looks great.
do
Okay.
you have a 600% zoom on it? Because I would like to see it up close.
No, unfortunately, I do not.
Go ahead, Dennis.
I was going to say there is one more image, and just for kicks, I told Paul about it, and it was just an in-hand photo. And I think I maybe had more than one in hand, maybe not.
You just had this one.
But the one in hand I had, this little guy was out of season a little bit.
Visiting?
Between seasons, from the looks of
Yeah.
things.
He was ready to bolt at any point in time, but with a nice slow walk up, I got maybe within about 6 feet of him, so I could take that shot. So yeah, I chose to take that shot and not with a throwing knife, but I probably could have at that distance. It's Shanghai shadowed the crap out of that thing. But anyway,
just use the torpedo. Come on.
I thought you were going to talking about using the Elementum.
Oh, just
oh, this one's paid for now.
PETA. PETA. They're gonna get upset again.
Look.
Oh no.
We have to upset them a certain number of times a year.
There's
This one we're gonna have a disclaimer at the end of this about
no bunnies were harmed for the purposes of
Bunny
this
was
review.
cool, man. He was
Yeah,
totally
nobody's-
cool. Yeah.
I think we absolutely need to do that for the record. No bunnies were harmed in the making of this video.
Terrible.
The only title.
So Dollary Dues, Wee Knife likes to 207 American. That converts to a sub 300 price point, give or take. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But yeah, 207 retail is what they're asking for on this one, American.
207.
Compared to the Elementum version that I am holding in my hands right now for 75 American dollars retail. On Civivi's web.
207 comes to 263.03 Canadian. So not a cheap knife, but
So
important, blah blah blah, go along with that. But yeah, give or
that's a
take.
hard question to answer for me because I say no because I'm not going to buy it. But I think if you want to buy it, it's not a bad way to spend.
Okay, so
You're not getting a bad knife for $280 is what I'm trying to say.
no, if you want a dressy Elementum, this is a great option.
or you could buy the new offering from ZT. Let's talk about price points and what you're getting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
was that 20 CV or was it S35?
20 CV.
This one's 20 CV. Yeah, but okay, calling ZT and throwing them under the bus.
The
For
copper?
a 260 sub 300 whatever polar bear dollars, S35 is what you're working with rather than a subpar.
Hold up, for what model? The new 22?
No. For like in the similar price point of
Oh.
ZTs.
Oh yeah.
Compared to a Wii knife, and it's in that sub 300 whatever price point.
So here's the thing about S35. It's not really any cheaper than 20 CV in terms of raw stock. They're very similar in terms of cost. Like I think there's less than a 10% difference. I don't think that justifies the price point for the perceived value level, but I do want to iterate that.
Are you going to read it?
But it's
No.
what the market demands as well, right? So there might be a 10% cost, but when it comes to what you're retailing them for, I mean, Wii's
Perceived value.
Banter,
Yeah.
look at what Wii's Banter is going for. And yes, different beasts, ball bearings and titanium and lock interfaces and chamfering on titanium and blah, 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 blah.
I suspect you're going to see very few new ZT models coming out in S35. And they will slowly phase out the ones that exist now and probably just.
There's
keep the 20
been
CV.
a lot of only premium. There has not been a ton of budget since like the 357, I think, came out, was the last budget model that ZT saw.
And even that was 20 CV.
It was. And the 909, it was kind of budgety.
The 909.
as well.
The 909.
The big tank that was
if-
liner lock less George.
Justin's
Oh,
still
that
here, he can let
that-
me know.
That was a couple of years ago. But yeah, that one was S35 as well.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
The only one that I know that's new that's come out recently is the 350 in S30. Other than 20 CV from ZT.
Yeah.
Which one,
New
sir?
models. The 350. And I say new with heavy finger quotes, re-release, and re-released in 20 or in S30 rather than 20 CV like the rest of the things that have come out new from them in the last.
Well, the 350's been out for as long as they have.
Yeah, didn't they like discontinue it for a little while and bring it back?
I think they just discoed the 300 and the rest of the 300
I might be wrong.
series.
Yeah.
The 300, the 301s, those, but the 350 has been long standing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if you actually look at the serial number on the one on the shelf, it's quite a long number. You've had that model around for a while.
Well, and they pull a sneaky where every variation starts a new serial number. So if you have a stonewash one or a black one or a black wash one or a tiger striped one or an orange one that you Cerakoted yourself, wait. I mean,
no, they don't give you
a serial number.
No, you don't know what serial number that one some bitch is. That might be a clone. It's not, by the way, but it's never
for the money.
Sold.
I was gonna say, for the money you paid, it better not be a clone.
What's the serial number on yours, Dennis? Your 804. Mine's 4627. I'm just curious.
It 46, is 4625.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
That's our brothers. Probably because they were both probably bought in our store 7 years ago or whatever the fuck it was.
The same day. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Within a couple of weeks. You enjoy one, you come back and buy a backup, then you have to sell them both, and we take advantage of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, we take advantage of these things.
We do, all of us.
Knives.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is probably part of a broader topic for another day, but it really does feel like ZT's been leaning into the bougie market quite hard, for better and for worse. And I think that Wii is obviously doing the same kind of stuff.
Okay, this is trying to get someone that has liked a budget model to try to start getting into another tier.
Yeah.
That's truly why I believe they went with a slightly softer steel.
But I mean, speaking of, yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. They got you. And so if you like the Elementum, there may or may not, that was the bug out, right? So yeah.
I just didn't hear what Paul said.
I said they got you.
Oh, yeah.
And with the hype that this knife has, is it worth the extra whatever $1 dues? To a lot of people, it probably is going to be, right? Yep. It's their upgraded bug out.
Yeah.
So
I think it definitely fills that role nicely. I don't think it's going to leave anyone particularly wanting. It's decent value for the $1, given everything.
And especially when you're considering the other things in Wii's like price point category, whatever type of thing. Like, what are you paying for the rounding more than the chamfering in a thug versus Elementum kind of conversation? Like,
how do you feel that you and Nick Shabazz Own the same knife.
Not the same. Shabazz has it's a satin finish. It's not the whatever version stripe
doing it wrong.
coated. I know, and
because he's got it's a brushed handle.
I know.
Sorry, I probably
no. It bugs me
derailed
too.
your whole point.
We have other knives that are also so yeah. Anyway, my big thing was just how much Wii knives are asking for some of their models, and you almost expect this to be jumping on a bandwagon of a 300 American price point or a 200, 250 American price point, and blah, blah, blah type of thing. So to see it coming in at 207 on their website, give or take.
I think you would have lost a lot of guys making that upgrade by making it too expensive. So I think it was the right choice on their part to.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap knife for the size of it and stuff like that, but.
And I think that's where you get the internal milling. You talk about 3.3, and they were talking about ounce and inch, blah, blah, blah. There's a handful of guys because the Elementum's been around forever. And this knife, was it new for 2022?
Oh, I thought it was a late 2021 release, but I could be wrong on that.
Mid-year, so they snuck it into the 2022 releases because they're greasy like that. I see you all at Blade Show releasing things twice, like it's okay.
Yeah.
Greasy, slimy sons of bitches. Yeah.
Dick Richards wants you to wrestle Nick Shabazz for the honor of being the king of YouTube knives.
Only if I'm allowed to wear a Joker mask, because he's going to be wearing a Batman mask.
Well, I was going to say, wear the whole Batman outfit except for the mask. And then you can wear
He's
the mask.
just wearing the cowl.
It's funnier that way.
Does that mean whoever wins gets the rest of the costume?
I think so.
Like,
I don't think he'd go for that. I don't think he'd risk a face reveal. I do.
He would take it off and there'd be another one underneath.
He's painted his face underneath the mask. Nice.
Yeah, but it's all of the different Batman cowls throughout the years.
It's just Christian Bale.
Oh God! All right,
Just
that
a
explains
mask
nothing.
of Christian Bale. Yeah.
Oh no! No, I was thinking like actually, this is just Christian Bale. This is what he does in his off hours.
It's Nick Shabazz is Christian Bale. Yeah.
That's why he doesn't show his face.
Yep. We've come full circle.
Cracked the code.
You'd think the jawline would give him away if it was Christian Bale.
It's been a long time since Newsies, okay?
All right. So Wii Knife Elementum.
Yeah.
Review. Oh, wait. Do I have other things? Action. Watch a couple of reviews. No one could get this thing to drop shut, for the record. No one. Watched a couple disassemblies, got people lubing it up, KPLing it up, doing several different things. No one could get this thing to drop shut. Action on the opening. No, he hasn't done the Wii. He's only done the Sabibi. On the opening, and everyone said the same thing. And on the opening, the action is actually pretty damn good. And including on the Sabibi one, it is what it is. It's pretty damn good. Like it's but on the close, no one. On the droppy. You have to do a little.
Personally, I prefer that. I prefer it to not just guillotine freely onto my fingies.
Get your fingies out of the way. Learn how to be a knife man. Come on.
Look. There's also something to be said. I did not test the Elementum like this. But
coming from the guy who almost hacked himself with his Conchigo today, cutting apart cardboard. But anyway,
there's that. For instance, with my Sabenza, it is not drop shut without the lock. While the lock bar is in play, but if you remove it, it very much wants to just drop. Yeah. Is the Elementum like that?
No, it doesn't swing no matter what. You can't.
Okay. That's
like even when you pull the lock bar out of the way, you get a little bit of a downward, but it's about the same as this, which is not much. It's not swinging.
As long as it breaks past the detent ball and I can either push it close against my leg or shake it shut or something else, that's enough for me, but it would be nice at this price point to have drop shut.
Personally,
I have the option if that's what you want.
as long as I have like you can shake it closed, whether it's side to side or just give it a one of those. Cool. This manipulating the Wii Elementum was never a problem for me, at least.
Well,
But
again, as a lefty in a right-handed locking world, the old break and close kind of roll the finger, blah 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 type. So it's never come into play on drop shot.
right.
My drop shot or my access lock stuff. It always has been, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't notice that my knife is bad until I play with someone else's model of the same knife. I had a gentleman come in with a Techno, and as soon as I played with his Techno, I was like, I gotta clean my Techno. It's
Oh no!
It wasn't bad until I played with someone else's. I'm like, oh, it's terrible.
It wasn't bad until I played with someone else's.
You heard it here first,
Sword of
folks.
the
Yeah. But yeah, a little perspective does definitely help. It's like, oh, I forgot it could be this good.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Mine must be gross. It didn't look bad, but it must be gross if this is how good the Techno can be. Yeah.
Oh, so sad. So sad.
Anyway, I think that about rounds us up on that one.
I think
did
so.
notice there was a handful of guys, and I noticed it too. I had played with it, and I couldn't really get it to drop shot. But for some reason on the firing,
It seemed
rockets. It rockets really nicely.
Yeah. Action's good. Handling's good. It's a good knife. I think most people would be happy with it. Again, for me, the hotspot is a little touch and go. I don't know if it's necessarily a deal breaker. That's kind of the thing. Like for me, again, I'm not as heavily into the Elementum design, so. But if you love the Elementum, I think you're gonna love this knife.
What are you wondering, Paul?
I just realized that the cutout for the lanyard hole is because on the original it's a liner with a handle scale on top, and now I'm really annoyed.
You're annoyed by it, huh?
Why just put a hole and be done with it, or don't do that too? Why mill it all out to look like the one that had a liner? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because it looks like you've done more to the knife. Because then you can charge more money for it.
You could have put a thin line, one milled mark down the middle of it, and it would have looked better.
The one thing I will say though, having it that offset is when you tie.
It's a titanium G10 peel ply.
Jesus Christ. They're not Spyderco, okay? They're not that crazy. For the record, I'm playing with the
G10 on the inside.
If a company did that, I'd buy it. Like straight up.
Yeah.
Like, if they announced we figured out how to do G10 titanium peel ply. Can you imagine how light that knife would be? And still feel titanium on the outside? Yeah.
I'd pay for that shitty tech demo, absolutely. I guess the one benefit to having the lanyard area
You're welcome, Tim
shelved
Reeves, for your next idea.
Let's just stop while we're ahead. We don't need to give Tim any more horrible ideas. Anyway, having it shelved like this, I guess means if you tied off a lanyard, the binding for that lanyard is going to be lower than the rest of the handle, relatively speaking. That's the one benefit I can see to having it, like leaving it kind of like shelved like that. But
getting a lanyard in and out of there, it's not as much material, so it'll feed. Yeah.
You don't have to say to that.
You don't like now? Do you dislike it aesthetically? Like as far as the lines of the knife?
I was wondering as to why they did it, and it was literally as we were sitting here, kind of grinding down at the end of this episode here, that I was like, light bulb moment of why they did it.
Right.
And it just immediately annoyed me.
He wants it to be bulbous, obviously.
Of course.
They could have done their own thing.
Flat titanium scales are kind of boring. I prefer having a little bit of extra work there than nothing.
I'm just saying they could have done other aesthetic things with the amount of carbide end mill that they did that with. They could have.
They could have, but also think about this is based on the original Elementum. What else could you do that would be a callback to the original, right?
So, did you know, gentlemen, that the fixed-bladed Elementum has a lanyard off the back that doesn't have a lanyard hole at all. If you look up, Joe,
Is it like off the butt?
the fixed bladed, there's 3 different versions. And yeah, straight off the butt, Paul.
Like that style?
Yeah, minimalist kind of styles on all 3 versions.
See, so they could have had a callback to the Elementum and done one of these
Still gone off the butt.
and used the same amount of milling and made the knife look better.
Basically, like they did on the what's the stupid knife you guys own? The rustic gent.
The stupid knife that
Elementum?
you guys own. Well, here's a picture of what he's talking
I like
about.
it, for the record. It was my SHOT Show knife of the year, and I still stick by it to this day. That was a great pick for that year. I've had some bombs, by the way.
Hey, you gotta be proud of the wins, right? But yeah, this is that's what he's talking about. Full shit. Yeah.
Why did I think it had mosaic pins?
Because there was a version that had Damascus that had mosaic pins.
Because it wanted to, and then they peaches and creamed this son of a bitch and ruined it. Like it's
Didn't they release a Damascus version though?
They do with ebony wood. It's up there. It's at the very bottom. It's just hidden because you can't see the Damascus very well.
I almost stabbed myself in the thingy.
Up there at the
But
very
apparently
bottom.
the artisan is not that sharp. Takes after its dad.
What am I looking for?
It's the very bottom of the list. There's a fixed blade.
Oh,
element
I see.
right beside the
I
clip,
don't believe you.
because that's apparently how important it is.
The Damascus one looks so much worse than the standard G10 variant.
The black G10, you mean?
Yeah, like the black G10 with the orange and white pins with the leather sheath.
Okay, the contouring on that though, it's so
Yeah.
nice and round.
It does. I'm just wondering, like, usually the Damascus stuff is on their more dressy models, and I don't know. They gave this one the tactical sheath. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
So what but
The
it's
sheath is gonna
the
scratch it?
slim slabs, so they can get away with not having to remold a sheath because it's the same thickness of slabs that the G10 are.
I mean, sure, but
This is an
Ultimately.
even deeper dive down into the tangent, but the leather sheath on the last one. Can we talk about the fact that they dyed the outside but didn't even bother to think about the inside of the leather at all? It's black leather on the outside and undyed leather, completely undyed on the inside. That hurts my feelings.
Okay, but I want them to come out with an Elementum fat now that is like this contouring, but a folder, and then with like fat carbon fiber or some shit like that type of thing, and just call it like the Elementum fat. And then
Is this one
play
bigger?
Fat Bottom Girls the whole time that you're doing the promotion for that knife. Like it's
Mhm.
it's the right answer.
One of my
Really
favorite
is.
Queen songs.
All right.
So
Glad we had that talk.
Yeah.
I think that rounds us out here, boys.
That's such a weird lanyard to put on that knife in the first place.
But that's
but-
what they should have done on the titanium one, closing out for the record. They
Yeah.
should have been a lanyard like that, and they should have got the like fakey lanyard hole. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do it proper. Do it like a Sabenza.
yeah.
Just to steal it from Tim.
Hey, Sabenza does it weird, and they have a hole that they put a plug into that then they run it through the other way. Because
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And the lanyard is what holds it in place, and if you take the lanyard out, then the tube falls out, and it's weird. It's weird.
Not on the 31, it doesn't.
Not in the 31, huh? Well,
No,
good for the
I removed-
31.
Looking
removed
forward
the
to
first
cutting it out.
customers.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Cutting it right out. My resale
Keep cutting
value
it.
is going to go up because I did that.
Hey, come on, man. What you do is you untie it and you put it in the box.
Oh
So
yeah,
if you ever do resell it, it's somebody
Yep.
else's problem.
I will.
Somebody else's problem. Yeah, no, that's exactly. Well, I mean, I don't even know where my Sabenza box is
I'm
right
gonna
now. but-
label maker it somebody else's problem and put it back in the box. And then when I die and they're looking through, they're like, I don't even know what that means. Like,
It's just somebody else's problem. You don't have to worry about it. It's somebody else's problem.
I'm gonna write a memoir,
Just
called somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Nice.
and it's just me bitching and shitting on people.
I think that's my review grading for this week. Is I rate the Wii Knife Elementum somebody else's problem.
That's pretty scathing, man. You ever...
Accurate though.
Yeah.
It's not going to be my problem. I mean, money wise, I'm good. I like this knife. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't have a home in my collection.
No, I think
it's a flipper.
Yeah, you're pretty hard to please when it comes to flippers to begin with. Hey, Paul, you shut the fuck up.
No, it's good. It's good. I mean,
you know I'm right though. I mean, you're picky. You're a picky son of a bitch.
You can't just take an average Miami Dolphin. It's that flipper's not going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm with you as far as somebody else's problem. If I was desperate to desperate, that makes it sound so much worse than it is.
If desperate.
Well, I was
stuff with this knife. If I was desperate.
I mean, if I fucking had to, no, but it's a pleasant enough knife. If I was desperate for an example of a Wii knife in my collection, and I wasn't too picky about what exactly it was, I just wanted it to be a good knife. This is a good knife. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good knife, but it's so, and this is my problem with the original Elementum design, but it's so bland. I just do not give a shit about it. But that being said, it's an excellent starter. It's an excellent all-round knife. If you want something that size and you don't have anything quite like it, it's really well built. It's really well designed. It feels good in hand, minus the clip.
I think this knife needed to say as a budget knife. I really do. Marketing wise, I got you. It's an aluminum bug out. You got someone to pay an extra $100 or 125 American or whatever it may be to get the fancier upgraded. And it's like I said, chamfering beautiful, like round edges, everything about this knife. If I was 4 or 5 years prior in my collecting career, whatever type of thing, this knife would be hammering a whole bunch of holy crap, this thing is nice kind of nails on the head, right? But it just doesn't have a home. It just doesn't have a home for me.
Yeah, it's not going to displace anything else in your collection, basically.
No, I can't see it kicking anything out in the boxes. It's going to be one box, by the way, but holy cow, work in progress on all that crap. Anyway.
And I feel like this, and I don't know if this is really a continuing trend, so to say, but I don't like seeing meh knife designs. I like seeing weird shit. I like seeing stuff that's polarizing, because ultimately the guys who end up with a design that they really like that design. You know, I think there's something to that. So yeah, if you've been collecting knives for a while, I don't know if you're necessarily going to be into this one.
I think the bug out has kind of built a niche market for kind of, I won't say boring, but like basic, straight handle, simple blade shape that's functional knives that they may not wow you with their looks necessarily, but as soon as you get it in hand, you're like, oh, that feels pretty good. Short of the pocket clip on this guy specifically, and me wanting it to be a little bit longer, overall, the ergos of this knife feel good for what it is.
Actually, can you go back onto the pocket clip side there, Joe?
Yep, right there.
Most people that are going to pick it up are going to be like, I like that. I can see myself using that. All right, I'll buy it.
It's funny, the number of people we've handed this to who are not, they're not initially looking to spend a ton of money on a knife. They handle it and they're like, oh, this is really, really, really nice. I think there's kind of that price point is at work. I think that marketing is at work, and
Yeah. It's high, but not so high as to be like, oh, I can't spend that. And then you're always going to have some people that are like, I can't. But here's the Elementum from Civivi if you can't spend the fancy money, and it still has the same kind of rounding, and it still feels very similar in hand. So
and it was like the conversation for me where people would ask, like, do you like the bug out? I'm like, yes, but I haven't found the right bug out for me. And I never did. Benchmade didn't release it.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to trade your way into.
We were
your-
made
yeah.
magic happen to make
Yeah.
the right bug out for me. But either way, yeah, if you're in that same category and you're more of a flipper guy and you're like, hey, yeah, I do like the Elementum for the same reasons you'd like the bug out, but I haven't seen the right Elementum for me, then damn Skippy,
But
this
yeah.
is the right Elementum for you. I have no question about quality wise on whether this knife, although I saw one disassembly where there was some gritty action and then no Loctite to explain the gritty action, so ball bearing kind of twisting as he's undoing the pivot, things like that. I don't know. Anyway, I
Interesting.
didn't see him actually clean the ball bearing, so I'm not 100% sure on that one, but
Hard to say then. Yeah.
It's not ideal.
yeah, it wasn't the bronze one, it was the all silver one, which I mean, even I was like, okay, this knife is subdued enough, you can get a bronze one. Like, stop
The
bitching
bronze is
about the gray
nice,
on gray. Yeah.
Nice.
One kind of final question I have for you guys. Civivi, well, we for a long time has had the reputation of being a great value purchase for higher end quality. That's kind of the reputation they started with, and they've been drifting away from that over the last couple of years. I don't think there's really much disputing that. Do you think this is along the old lines? Do you think this is as good a deal now as some of their earlier stuff was?
No, it's small compared to some of the earlier stuff.
I don't know. You're pushing like a decade marker, maybe not quite, but 7 or 8 years since those prices existed.
Yeah, of course. Things have definitely changed in that.
The Wii has always had $500 offerings, for sure. Wii, when they first started out, was known to be a $200 or $300 price point that you could get $500 knives for. But within 2 years, they realized that too and started to drop out $500 and $600 knives, even in their earlier days.
The dragon scale and stuff from the earlier days, for sure.
Yeah.
Complicated milling patterns for sure. Yeah.
Some of that old Wii stuff was,
This is stuff that got me excited about Wii in the first place.
Yeah.
With the dragon scale.
So it's not about you, Paul. It's about we.
Oh fuck.
I'm leaving.
That's making it.
Well, you guys didn't grade it. I mean,
that's my grade.
Take it. Grade. I'm leaving.
Oh man.
I don't know. It's. I don't know. 8 meh out of 10. Because it deserves a high score.
And but that random buzz, whatever that was. So
8 mez and a random buzz. There was
8 mez and a buzz.
Oh no, it was your phone. It was your phone.
There was a phone buzzing for sure. Yeah, I heard something.
It was a buzz.
Okay, here. There we go.
So I mean, what's a bzzz worth?
It's worth. I'll take it or leave it.
Oh, I was gonna say it's
out of 10.
Out of 10 mez?
Yeah, 8 bzzz out of 10 meh.
Okay, that is completely acceptable on the first scale.
Are those units? Are those units transferable? Is that legal? Can you do that?
Like, I don't care how many flaming tires there are involved.
I'm going to give you measurements, Joe, in feet and millimeters.
Don't.
And I'm not going to tell you which are which.
This is.
It's better than feet and milliliters. I mean,
there you go.
The Wii knife Elementum is 1.5 Civivi Elementums.
Indeed. Just a quick shout out. Black Frost. Have a good night.
Toodles.
Toodles.
I bid them. I bid him toodles.
I bid whatever you say, toodles. Ned Flanders.
Come on, that's a walking quote. Come on. Yeah, no, I still think the original's better. Just okay, but if you're a lefty and you like 20 CV,
is this a penguin thing? Like the budget penguin is better than the fancy penguin, and this is the same kind of idea?
I don't know. I feel like with the fancy penguin compared to the regular penguin, you get. That being said, I'm thinking of the frag pattern version. I actually really dig the frag pattern.
I'm gonna throw something out there right now. It's not enough of a difference on the upgraded penguin compared to the budget penguin. This has more of a separation.
Yeah, the 154 to D2 is not enough of a jump.
No, and the price point reflects that because it is a mild jump on that.
Yep.
But I
It's
think
only 3 times the cost.
comparing the two is not the same because this one's, I think, very much worth that 207 American MSRP.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying it's not worth the dollar value if you're specifically looking for what that knife is.
It doesn't feel like a deal. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
I haven't had a Wii knife feel like a deal ever
In a while.
that I bought. Ever.
Yeah, well, no, but look at what you're buying.
I was going to say, you tend to go for the really expensive ones.
Think about those knives and made in America and what they would cost. I
don't
think you actually did get a deal.
Actually, that's a good fucking point.
No, I just think we're getting effed by American retailers.
Well,
I don't think I got a deal. I think you're just getting effed by American retailers. Benchmade included, and I've got a bigger Benchmade box than all the 2 other boys here, for sure.
Yeah.
And my Benchmade box, you can fit so many Benchmades in there. It's a big box.
Big bloody box.
It doesn't bleed.
Well,
it bleeds joy.
Does that mean it's losing joy? It emits joy. Let's just.
It's
radiates joy.
Oh God, I'm irradiated with joy.
My Geiger counter is going off. No, that's joy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's a giggle counter. Not a.
Oh my God.
Giggle counter. Oh.
Yeah.
I think that just caused psychic damage.
Is that what giggles cause?
Yeah.
All right. I'll remember that.
All right, gentlemen. All right.
So, has Joe given it a grade?
Yeah, it's kind of a take it or leave it.
he said a 1.5 of the Civivi Elementums is what he graded.
Yeah.
So he thinks it's worth 1/2. Is it the blade or the handle half?
No, it's worth one and one. But it's not double. It's 1 and 1/2.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. The 1/2.
The handle.
The handle.
The handle's improved.
Yeah,
the blades.
Okay, but if we're diving into the score sheet and it's not just a 7 out of 10, which handle on the budget version? Because I have a wood version. There's my card. There's purple. There's not a purple. Everyone bitches that there's not a purple. Everyone bitches about the fact that they don't have a purple. And either they didn't make a purple titanium too.
Literally everything else.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Which handle on the 1.5?
It's better than all of them except.
Better than all. I was just asking him which handle out of all the budget Elementum handles he would pick as his half handle.
The titanium.
Yeah. No, I'm saying the handle's better. The titanium handle is better than any of the budget versions, but I would take any of the budget blades over the 20 CV because the hollow grind is that fucking good.
Oh, you're going back 10 years where the guys were doing titanium handles with D2 blades and charging a premium for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do Civivi's typical hardness on D2, then sure.
I am thrown so far off of this conversation, although it didn't make sense in the first place. Like it's
No.
the 50% that I think is better on the Wii Knives Elementum is the handle. I think the blade is worse.
Oh, I'm so lost on your scoring. It's so bad. I take it back, Fisk. It's not. It doesn't check out. The buzzes out of Mez. I'm down. We got it.
That's sound logic.
Joe, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I can't follow that shit.
That's okay. I'm not expecting.
Come back to the drawing board where you got a messed up seagull to work with. Like, it's.
Oh.
What do you think this is? A Gannett review? Like, it's.
I can't rate this in Elementums. I mean, clearly I've tried, but.
Clearly, I've tried.
Okay, so for the record, I thought you were scoring the titanium Wii Elementum was worth 1.5 of the budget Elementums.
Yes, that is exactly what I was saying.
So I was saying if it's 1.5 and the half is the handle half, which colored micarta, which wood, which version of the budget handle would you pick as the handle color to be worth the 1.5?
Okay, see, I'm confused by that. I have no idea what you're asking
Paul,
here.
So
I'm on board with you, Dad.
would it be the natural micarta handle? Would it be the wood handle? Would it be the black micarta? Would
I'm
it
saying
be
the titanium
purple.
I'm saying I wouldn't choose any of those, and the titanium handle is better.
Yes, but what you said originally was that the titanium one is worth 1.5 of the budget ones.
So now I'm getting into semantics about what parts of the budget ones are you giving towards the titanium one.
If you had to pick the budget one,
So you're asking if I'm going to trade in parts from the budget.
There's 9 versions of a budget Elementum. These things matter.
Oh
sir.
man, that's weird. Why wouldn't you ask what blade I would have left? That's so backwards.
I mean, you only have 20, or you only have D2 or 1428 Sandvik, but you already said that the handle was the half version, so I'm way more interested.
So is it the wood? Is it micarta?
If I was going to be stuck with one of the budget versions, I'd like the micarta. I like the micarta quite a bit.
He's still not answering your question, but we're gonna have to take micarta as the answer.
I know.
I'm still not entirely sure what you're asking here. Yeah. Like, it sounds like you're asking what part I would remove in order to replace it with the titanium.
No,
sir. You're overcomplicating things. Your engineer brain is making it more complicated than it actually is.
I am so confused.
If you had physically in front of you, you had the titanium Elementum on your right hand side.
Okay.
And on your left hand side, you had the 1.5 budget Elementums. We're just asking which flavor of budget Elementum would you
literally?
You're just asking what extra parts I would want
on your scale.
Oh,
literally, that's all I was asking.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. Okay,
like
yeah, I was
6 minutes ago.
That's fucking hilarious. Thank you so much for taking the time to explain that.
Apparently,
awesome.
I speak Joe.
Yeah, that's great. You know the exact brand of stupid to communicate with me. It's fantastic.
So when you have those circles of like Joseph and Dennis, and like Paul's in the middle of those two,
and every once in a
being
while,
an interpreter for what the fuck can I mean? Like it's Wait, I think I can explain this in a form.
No, I appreciate that. Wood and micarta, the wood and the micarta.
Okay, so one wood with a blade and then the micarta handle.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I think so.
Or is he taking like half of the wood and half of the micarta?
Yeah, Ben is right. Paul is a Dennis to Joe translator.
Never thought we'd need one of those.
I don't think Google could have done that shit. Jesus Christ, man.
No, Google ain't got shit.
Dennis says hello, and what Joe hears is bonjour.
Damn gibberish.
So if you divide by the square root of, that's what Joe hears. Like,
oh, terrible.
Anyway,
that was the tangent. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that rounds us out on the Elementum.
Yeah, let's stop talking about.
Anyone else have any sort of small topic to talk about, or are we just calling it a night on the Elementum because we've ranted for over an hour?
Yeah.
Good. But good.
What small topic? I don't know. Does someone have a small topic?
It's kind of a small topic. I would like to go a bit more in depth, potentially, but
is it controversy with the knife community? Is there some of that garbage going on?
That's hilarious, but no.
Okay, that's good because I don't even care. Whatever. Stop being in high school, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
Like it's here.
No, it was new releases from a certain company that we looked at.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of
from a couple different companies.
A couple different. Oh, I stopped looking. What were the other ones?
Wasn't there also some things from Kershaw they just released that we didn't talk about?
Yeah, there's a new Kershaw Lucha.
There's also a new Kershaw Karambit.
Oh, those,
yes,
right.
There sure is.
I completely forgot.
And
yes.
a fixed blade caping and skinning D2, as well as 6 models from CRKT.
Were they
so
Trigger. What's that? So were they fixed blade or were they backlocks?
They were
Or
both.
was it a different
sir.
knife that they also
No,
released?
there was 6 models. You're talking the 2 and the 2. Because
Okay.
there's the 2s. With a Karambit and a Lucha back in the background, messing shit up.
Yeah, it'll do it.
Wow. That's what happens when you design 4 hunting knives, is you gotta compensate with a Karambit and a Balisong.
Don't
How
don't you
else am I
worry about
supposed
it.
to cull my deer?
Is this
Do you-
like
do you
some
not
sort of
Karambit
like
your deer?
rating on the wind for what Buck's about to pull off? Like they've been doing hunting knives for years. Throw a Karambit and a Balisong out from
Oh,
Buck.
how bad would the buck karambit be?
Oh, I'm sure it's already been bad.
Had they make it shaped,
They discontinued it,
But
but
it-
it's come and gone.
imagine instead of like they do something sensible like a folder, they make it like a Buck 110. It's a lockback with a brass handle and wooden lace. That'd be such a monstrous thing.
Mhm,
Oh, I'd
mhm.
probably buy it.
With a brass Karambit ring on the backside. And it's
Hell
a button.
yeah.
It's an auto. It's an auto for
It's
sure.
an auto. Although
Is it
that
an
does,
OTF?
it reminds
No,
me of
they
the
haven't
winter.
come out with a Buck OTF. They need a normal OTF before they come out with a Karambit OTF. Come on.
No, they don't. They're going straight to the karambit.
What do you think
OTF.
this is? A 9400?
It comes out like that.
I'm going to bitch
And
just
hurt you.
for just
Yeah, and it fires in your pants 100% of the time.
Just thump.
Oh. We can't actually look at Kershaw's website right now. System update.
Of course,
we're
it's
in
down
the
for
right
maintenance.
place.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
Don't talk about
okay.
warranty. Don't talk about Bruno. It's fine.
Okay. Well, we can go to the Knife News article to get some pictures quickly here.
Oh, for Kershaw?
Just to
Yeah.
show. Just
Or
to
we
show
could just
off.
jump to CRKT because they do actually have stuff, and we could talk about Kershaw next week.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're back next Friday, I think, the 3rd. So
let's do that. Go to the what's new.
think. I might be wrong. They might be back at the
Here we
beginning of this
go.
next month.
So they had 6, I believe, new models that were just recently introduced.
Yeah, why do you gotta overcharge for Tomahawks? Like straight up. Why gotta they be assholes like that?
Just carry the laptop to the bathroom, Ben. Jesus.
Like, did James Williams design this Tomahawk or what? Like,
Huh.
Laptop to the washer. What's going on?
I have
Yeah,
no
Ben's
idea.
complaining about there being no mandated breaks anymore.
Oh.
He can't take a bio.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I take one every once in a while, but it doesn't happen that often anymore. So.
Government mandated, but don't worry about
Government
it.
can't tell me what.
Let's not get into that.
Absolutely not.
I will say, the Tomahawk is actually one of the more interesting things. It is expensive. I was really excited to see the Stickler show up. I've been eyeballing a Jeff Park. That's a Jeff Parks design.
Are you a tickler stickler?
Yeah, stickler for tickler. Yeah, right. No idea what that's supposed to mean.
Joe's gonna let us know that he likes Parks designs.
I do.
Yeah, we know. How many?
How many Aussie knives have you bought because of it? Like
One.
it's- Oh,
What's that stupid thing called again?
Crossbones.
How many crossbones have you bought?
2.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really liked it. I really like this design. 12C. It's a liner lock. It's neat. I really like the machining on it. I like the visuals. I don't know if I'm gonna end up with it just because I don't see why I would carry it instead of either of my crossbones. Maybe they got the heat treatment correct on that one though, instead of the on the Oz 8 on this guy. But no.
What is this blade reminding me of? It reminds me of something.
all the things. It reminds
sure.
you of everything they've come out with in the last 3 years.
You think-
Touche.
Really?
The facet and the CEO and
No,
the
the-
stylus and
It's specifically the fact that it starts wider and then it drops down and then it's spear point. I don't know if it's a Swiss Army knife that has that profile or if it's something else that has.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the Swiss Army knife. They kind of have this almost Spyderco hole looking thing, and then it does that little sweep and bird's
Is
beak
it
looking thing.
the soldier that does that?
The soldier
looks really
and
dumb?
yeah, 100%. Anyway, we don't have to look at this knife anymore. I just wanted to look at a few of these pictures.
How do you guys
Oh,
feel about the triangle pivot, by the way? Because it's here and we got to ask.
I told you how I feel about it.
I'm
You're
into it.
gonna put it in wrong?
It's weird.
What's that?
So you're gonna put it in wrong?
No. It's a 3-way half stop. It's actually triangular on the inside too.
It's not.
fine.
It's not a half stop. It actually locks at 3 separate positions.
Oh, the TDI.
Okay, you know, K-Bar actually made a TDI folder that did actually stop like at that kind of an angle, and it
They
was
still do, don't they?
no, they
Yeah.
discontinued it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Never
So,
mind.
well, at the very least, it's not available on K-Bar's website anymore. It's not even listed.
That's
have
because they tried to forget about it. It's fine.
They're trying. Oh, they're trying. Well, we won't let them
Didn't
forget.
you? I'll ask later.
Yeah, I did just recently sharpen a couple of those for a guy. But anyway.
Are them? Yeah,
Yeah. Because you need to do a wield. Anyway.
of course.
Yep.
I still
So
want a Space Force TDI for the
back
record.
on the main train of they made a home front that doesn't come apart.
Yeah, that was a weird fucking choice. I'm just gonna say that.
How many people must have bitched and been like, if you made this knife without that stupid take apart action?
Now,
Every
I don't
time
know
I
why
hand
they
it to my
don't do
buddies,
those.
it falls apart in 3 pieces. Like it's
you know, okay, so
every single one of them hits that stupid switch. Stop doing it. You son of a bitch.
the thing about that switch, and I've heard of this from a few different people. But the original field strip technology had this little toggle switch that was just below the pivot, and that sucker could get quite loose over time. And there's no real way to tighten, as far as I'm aware. It's just kind of once it's starting to get loose, it's not like there's a threaded bit.
If
So-
only you came up with an upgraded field strip technology that you could replace it with.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen the upgraded version on this design, especially
That's what I'm
since
saying.
now they wouldn't have been able to make it assisted because this is assisted with ball bearings.
Screw that. Put those technologies together. Why wouldn't you? You've done everything else. so
Oh,
far.
that seems like such a good idea. A knife that disassembles itself and is spring assisted. I
You
cannot
just make
see.
you just
how
make the
that could
liner. You have
possibly
the
go
liner have
wrong.
two. You have the liner have 2 screws where there's a plate with the assisted stuff that doesn't come out.
Sure, but then you have to make sure that spring can't move when it's being actuated. There's no way
You
that
have to-
you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Look.
You can do it.
Actually,
Look,
you could.
I want a
potentially...
ballistic knife, and that sounds like the best way to make one myself. Okay.
I was just gonna say there might actually be a way where you could engineer it such that when you move the new field strip, up and over, it would pinch the spring into the open position.
Yeah, and then when you locked it back down again, it would pop that spring into the right hole of where
Yeah.
it needed to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably could do that.
Okay, well,
Huh.
steal that design. That's cool.
Yeah.
And in the
Patent in the
meantime,
meeting room,
what's
Joe.
this knife?
We're gonna
What's this knife
make
worth?
noise.
Because you can't scroll down and see it.
Too much money. $83 for a 12C Sandvik. Now it's got aluminum handles. So
No,
you know,
that's
sure.
not
Nice
too
and
much
steel
fun.
it's all come with.
Okay, what was the home front aluminum with Oz 8 worth?
I would say Oz 8's still
Or-
an upgrade over 12C Sandvik.
Yeah. But did you remember how much that knife was worth?
Well, it was quite a bit, but you were also using field strip, right? So you're
It was
paying
like
more for that, too.
120 or 150 American. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was
100
horrendous.
I think it was 150 because I seem to remember seeing the green one for like 180. But-
Canadian.
Yeah,
Yeah, polar
yeah,
bear dollars.
yeah.
Yeah. So for $100 less, and you've got assisted and ball bearing with this knife, still aluminum handle, is the 12C Oz 8 trade off worth the extra $100 for the field strip?
it's a nicely designed knife. I've always loved the ergos on it. Assuming that hasn't changed at all, and it looks like it really just hasn't. This looks like it's not hologram. What the fuck? Why are knife companies not going with holograms anymore? That's weird.
Because fuck you, that's why.
I guess. I mean,
Mhm.
at least a little bit. Yeah, come on. Anyway,
And we're gonna heat treat it, super soft too, but that's just because they're CRKT,
What
not
does-
because
what does
it's.
what does CRKT do for their 12C? I forget.
I'm not sure, but I don't actually think it's that bad. I think it's actually pretty decent. I might just be slagging for no reason, and that might get me in trouble. But it's
I don't know if that's a pentagram so much as
Steel
a star there.
There we
Dick.
go.
Um,
Oh,
it's not
12C
really
Sandvik.
like-
what the
It's a 5-sided
army.
star, yes, but
It was the military star off of
Yeah.
like the old Jeeps
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
It was
Yeah.
the
That's what I
alarm
mean.
star.
It's a 5-pointed star, but it's not really a pentagram. I would describe it as. Wouldn't describe it as.
No. It was based off the old military fighters and bombers and Jeeps and stuff. The OG version of it, at least.
The
Yeah,
stars that sergeants and other guys got on their shit too.
You know, the gas. Anyway.
Tulsi Sandvik, their spec for heat treat is 59 to 61.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I think it's actually pretty decent. I think I'm just slagging because I'm a dick. So
No, but actually, I might take back what I said earlier about the Oz 8 being an upgrade because they're still listing it as 58 to 59. So you might actually get a little bit better performance out of the
How
12C.
many
well,
times
that's
you have to
because if you
sharpen
got
your-
Oz 8 to 60, it would break. Like it's
How come nobody told Cold Steel?
what's
Anyway,
Cold Steel run? Their
sorry,
Oz
Paul.
8?
What were we going to say, Paul?
Well, Dennis had a question for you. How hard does
Oh.
Cold Steel run theirs?
I've never actually tested it, but no.
I see. You're just throwing Cold Steel out as a defendant when they're like, no, we run our shit soft too. You don't even know.
I'll come back with answers. I'll come back with answers next week because I want to say that I've actually tested on my what was the knife that had it though? It was the no, it was the knife that you like though, the fixed blade, the secret edge, the little looks like this guy, but he's fixed and it's Oz 8.
All right, we'll put a pin on that so much.
Yeah, we'll come back to
continue
that.
on, Paul. You had a question.
The question I had was how many times did you have to sharpen your Oz 8 crossbows before it actually held an edge?
4 separate occasions I had to sit down and remove a generous amount of material.
Okay. There was a lot of tweaking in between that as well.
Oh
He'll
yeah.
tell you when he gets there.
It's for the record, it still doesn't hold a great edge, but better than when it was new out of box. Still not as nice as my Cold Steels and Oz 8 though. Paul's looking confused.
Yeah, sorry. I just got a message from CKG about somebody's Japanese mistress. I was very confused for a second.
Well then.
Not important.
Hey.
Yeah. It just all of a sudden took over my screen for a second and then disappeared.
Fair enough.
Just long enough for me to see those words and be like, what? And then it went away.
That's fair.
You don't worry about it. Can we talk about the carabiner knife for a second?
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we do.
So they made something similar to this before, didn't they? This is the first time they've done this.
Yes, and it had like this normal like hawkbilly looking drop point. I don't even know. Campano it's got more than one variation, but apparently it sold good enough that they needed a sheep's foot variation of it. Because what the hell? Like seriously, it did sell good enough. They need variants of it. Like,
Why does this feel like a Gerber knife to me?
Because they're made in the same factory.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm just on.
Is it 7CR2?
8CR13.
Well, there you go.
Oh, look at the front.
CRKT's like.
It's a top / front flipper. Aren't you lucky?
I'm buying it.
Now, I will actually admit that the sheep's foot version looks like it actually sits inside that carabiner handle better than probably the original one did.
Yeah.
So maybe they actually realized that they could make it more like sleek when it's actually closed.
Can I roll it open with that gear?
I don't
No,
Like the old
think
Gerber that did that?
so.
no.
Well, then why even exist?
Okay, on that note, on to some other things.
I'm gonna call.
I gotta turn the heat down. It is cooking in here. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. I have one question before we move on from the carabiner, if that's what we're gonna do. It says classic lock, slip joint secures the knife in the open and closed position. That is not a lock, my friend. That's that is the exact opposite of a lock. It's a detent, if anything.
24 degrees in my house.
Hey, Paul, do you consider slip joints to be a locking mechanism? Would you consider this a locking knife?
No, and I am insulted that somebody would.
Yeah, CRKT apparently considers a slip joint a lock.
I mean, is it called a classic lock? Is that what it's?
Classic lock. Slip joint secures knife in the open and closed position.
I wonder what the walk and talk on this thing's gonna be like.
Oh, it's probably a double detent if I had to guess, right? Like, I don't think this has actually got a leaf spring on
You
the back.
think they put a double D? There's no way. This
Okay,
thing
maybe a
literally
single
just, like,
detent.
flops around like a Miami Dolphin flipper we were talking about earlier.
They-
Jesus Christ.
They call it a slip joint. Something's got to slip.
This thing is just this thing is just tight enough that you open it and you close it.
That's
And
a
what you have to work
That's
with.
a friction folder, not a slip joint. Come on. I would actually be okay if that's what they said it was, but the fact they call it a slip joint is just odd. That being said, closed, it looks pretty functional as far as the carabiner goes.
Hey, does that carabiner have a knife? You bet it does. That's what I'm looking for in my carabiners.
Oh, there's a video, which I don't think we can play on our YouTube video. That's okay. Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna
for the
say,
record, Pano, this is the old one, I guess. Yeah, that's a looker. Flows is okay into the handle.
Nah.
I gotta say, I like the blue and the black as opposed to the almost green and brown.
Yeah, there's not much of a difference there, is there? Yeah, as far as it being closed. So.
No, they're very similar. Goddamn.
And you know that they're calling this a 2023 preview, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Did you say? All right, it's 2023 next year, right? Never mind.
Now they
What
call
year it was for a second.
You're like, wait a minute.
It's 2020. What are you guys talking about?
I gotta go live my life. Jesus Christ.
Time's an illusion.
Oh,
don't worry about it. Don't you even worry about it, man.
I'm gonna make those days back up in the forest.
So you can actually order the Campano now if you need it.
If you needed it.
The stickler can.
So it's a 2023 release sneak preview that is available now.
Add to cart, sir. Add to cart.
Yeah.
So is the
I don't think they understand what preview means.
I don't think anyone told them.
Add to cart on everything.
The second half of that word is.
So do we want to talk about how the ox cart is just a stretched out rhino? Like
a little bit.
Almost exactly. Yeah.
I think we should also, I don't know if the Graham is a new model, but we should probably touch on the fact that he recently passed.
Oh yeah, that whole thing. Yeah.
But that is definitely a rhino.
Which Graham? Oh, the Razel Cliff. No, it came out at the beginning of last year, which was probably a sneak preview from the Blade Show from the year before because they're dicks like that. But I won't harp on it too much because yes.
Like I said, I forgot. We've meant to mention about John Graham's passing last week, and we're assholes and forgot.
Yeah. Cheers. Pour one out. All those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's talk about the ox cart now.
I think I just made fun of his weird clip, and that was about it. Actually, to tell you the truth.
It's a weird. It's a little strange. Yeah.
I bet you it works great in slacks.
I bet you it throws well. Joking.
Underhand.
Obviously.
Yeah, probably slides in and out of slacks decently. Something's really. The blade's not bad. The thumb studs are kind of fucking weird though. Something's really thrown me off about them. Maybe it's because they match the handles so closely.
Are they painted?
They're Delrin, sir. No, no, I'm pretty sure they're just. I'm pretty sure it's just steel buttons, button and thumb studs.
Just a different finish.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me.
Ah, crap! I killed Paul.
All right, we're getting long in the tooth on this evening's stream here, so let's dabble on the last design, which I'm pretty sure.
Well, there's the Attaboy.
That ox cart
is
awful, by the way.
Yeah. It's like they stopped caring about clips as long as it's a deep carry clip. No one cares anymore, and they're like, "It's a deep carry. Look, it bends around. I can just put on whatever I want," and that's a whole topic within itself for sure. but
Yep.
because knife companies do that shit nowadays.
Here's a prime example right
I
here.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, speaking of the Attaboy.
Attaboy. $100. D2.
Look at it.
Elastic handles.
Plastic handle.
Still
But-
ends up being cheaper than the shoot. What
Is
it?
that a plastic handle with a cast part on top of it?
No, with a
Nope.
plastic handle on top of it.
Plastic
Oh, it's
handle
blue
on plastic
plastic.
handle. Yeah.
Mm.
Glass reinforced nylon, baby.
But depending on what's the thickness on this sumbitch blade
It ain't-
stock?
Um,
3.2
thickness.
mils. That's
Yeah.
good. It's good.
That's-
I'm gonna be honest. This looks
It's a-
right up your alley, Joe.
it's a smaller Trask.
Well,
Yeah.
but with the assisted, we did find out that you can like drop shut it if you're like, aggressive
Yeah,
with the whole
for
thing.
instance.
And
Yeah.
that's why I was curious about blade stock, because I'm wondering if this thing's chunky enough that I imagine you can do the shake with this bad boy. The
Yeah.
Will
shimmy,
it rattle
the
and
shimmy,
roll?
shimmy shake, as it were, right? That's
Got a shim. Got a shake. Got a shimmy shim.
You have to
We're looking
shim
at
more
the
than once,
Attaboys,
Joe, or
yeah.
you're not doing it right.
You shim more than once. It's just playing with himself. Anyway, it's a small knife. It's a two.
My
2.7
desk is
three.
always gonna have a wobble because I can't be accused of playing with myself. So
Look.
Sure.
Both hands are above the table. One hand's on a mouse. So,
that's on a mouse.
Got both hands on my beer. Does that count?
sure.
It just alternates hands. Anyway, anyone else have anything to say about the sumbitch? I guess we'll see it. It looks like just it's an assisted dead
it's got a-
multi-pillar.
They gave it a flipper.
Well, the pillar 2 had a flipper.
Sure, but this is like a corner flipper almost. So yeah,
Oh, neat.
yeah. It's kind of interesting. If this was
It's
available,
another one that I feel like with CRKT where it's like, oh, you almost did it. Almost there. Plastic
Yeah.
handle. Get fed.
Oh, they tried to Turismo it. I see what's going on here.
yeah. Turismo was a nice knife. I wish that fit into pockets better.
I wish it wasn't slippery as shit.
That
Yeah.
too. That too. The smallest amount of no, it's just not great.
Anyway, okay, we should round it out here, boys.
Yeah,
I think so.
absolutely.
Thank you to the Cutting Edge for supplying Elementums in many forms. In many
Multiple.
forms. Yeah.
Plethoras of opportunities.
We appreciate that. So thank you for that. And go to their website for recent prices on, I think there's a titanium up on the website. If not, I'll harass the web guy like I usually do when we go and look and it's not on the website.
Mhm.
We're not going to do that this time. We're just assuming it's on there because maybe he does a good job sometimes. So
Occasionally.
Maybe.
sometimes.
Sometimes.
Other
Maybe.
people thank people. Come on.
Hey,
Good
thank you, Instagram, for being Instagram, and follow us over there.
I was going to say, maybe thank the people for following us on Instagram and maybe encourage new people to follow us on
Yeah,
Instagram.
y'all should follow us because I'm sure there's going to be a point at some point in the future where we're going to sit down and talk as a group about this giveaway that we've been talking about.
Hey, you
Then
know
we're
what?
gonna
I
do a
just
giveaway.
got randomly over here that we haven't talked
Hey,
about
look at
at
that.
all in like
gonna do a
2 to
giveaway.
3 weeks. Hey, look, there's a giveaway coming up with the Sabibi riffle. We're going to give it to someone. We are. I swear to God. I swear.
Consider it a threat.
We're gonna get
We're-
mailing addresses and everything. It's
We're
ridiculous.
not going to YouTube 23 it like some other people. Anyway,
Look, we're giveaway cuts, Ben. Okay, we're giveaway cuts. It's
Joe likes to clap in the corner with his feet. It's fine.
That's such a strange mental image.
it's one hand.
What's the sound of one hand clapping?
It's 1 foot.
Oh, bleh.
If I could bet, if there comes a day where I can do that with my feet, just shoot me. Just end it.
Will do.
Just 2 feet. 2 feet. Just go.
I'll just gladly.
If I have to see that, you're dead.
Shit. Well, it sounds like I've got a
Joe's
timer going.
looking over his shoulder for
Joe,
the next little
please
while.
don't ever get shot because I'm going to be suspect number one.
No, yeah.
I mean,
So-
he just started clapping his feet, and the dude started blasting. I don't know what happened.
Oh, the cops will be like, "Oh, understood.
Yeah.
I understand.
Nothing wrong done."
I'm
He was
so
doing
sorry.
What? He was clapping his feet? Oh, yeah. Okay.
You've done a public service.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And also Patreon. Thank you to everyone who continues to subscribe over there. There will be a thank you coming soon. Joe, you need to look into some of that.
yep.
We've
I'm putting you on the
genuinely
spot.
been looking.
Yes.
Genuinely, like we're probably closer now than we ever have been, which is
It's only taken us until Christmas 2022.
June. Six months.
Yeah.
So-
We got 6 months more to go. We're good.
If
Look,
we
said
drag
it was
this,
a Christmas giveaway. It's got to be a goddamn Christmas giveaway.
Merry Christmas
oh,
in June.
Oh, where do you buy Santa hats in June?
Australia. Anyway.
Touche. I don't think that's true, but okay.
Oh, it's just winter there. It's not actually Christmas. It's still the same day.
Say. that's
Oh, okay. We should leave.
we're gonna have to include a Santa hat in the giveaway now. You realize that?
Yeah, at the very least, there's going to be a Santa Claus hat for no reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. Yeah.
Oh,
You're welcome.
All right, gentlemen. It's been fun tonight. Thanks for joining us. We will see you back Sunday, 7:15 Mountain Pacific time, Mountain Standard Time, Mountain
think-
something time. We're kind of close to the
Mountain
mountains.
Standard time.
there's the standard
Yeah.
sometimes.
There's some
It's
mountains
in the mountains.
to the west of us. It's fine. It's fine.
To the west.
Yeah, my west is this way, by the way, Paul.
Mine's over here.
That's very confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, screw you guys. It's
Mine's over there.
my
Oh,
studio's
Joe's pointing the same direction you are, Dennis, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Oh,
my
but my-
studio's backwards. I'm pointing
Huh.
this way.
oh, for those watching at home, I'm mirrored, so I'm actually my west is that way, but it's actually that way. So don't worry about
Oh.
it.
All right.
As long as we know which way up is. I mean, all right,
Well.
guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. Had fun. We'll see you again next week. I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I'm there and Joe.
XL.ca.
Thanks once again for joining, guys. We'll see you next week.
Boop, 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 boop.
If you started digging a hole to China, when would you have to start digging to get there by Christmas?
Yes.
How far do you think you go before you just burst into flames from the heat of the core?
Yes.